A federal judge this week ripped Stephen Miller and, of course, a couple other members of the Trump administration as being either ignorant or incompetent or both. And for the record, this wasn't just the judge's opinion of these people. It was based on the defense that the federal government itself offered up in court. U.S. District Judge Beryl Howell was overseeing a case challenging the administration's recent rule change, which allowed them to just take anybody that looked like an immigrant, lock them up, actually arrest them with no warrant, no nothing, not even probable cause. So that was challenged because you can't just pick people at random and put them in jail and make them prove they don't belong there. That's illegal. And Judge Beryl Howell did say in her ruling that, yes, this is illegal and you cannot do that anymore. But while the government was attempting to defend these policies, Beryl Howell, of course, in her opinion, had written all these statements made by members of the administration saying they've said this, they've said that about just go out there and arrest them and we'll sort it out later. But the government claimed that these comments were made by people who, didn't understand the law. And in her ruling, Howell pointed out, this is a remarkable assertion. On its face, the government's defense appears to be that the individuals behind these statements are ignorant or incompetent, or both. And then she goes on to single certain people out, and I'll get more into that in a second, but first, a quick word from today's video sponsor. By now, you know Trump's big, beautiful bill has passed, but almost no one's reporting how ICE will get nearly $40 billion of our tax money each year, making it the most heavily funded law enforcement agency in U.S. history. That's more money than most nations spend on their entire military. So much of our media is either missing the worst of this bill or twisting the language so you think it's all in your best interest. But we've seen the ICE raids ramping up. Now Trump's openly threatening to deport U.S. citizens. This should be the biggest story in America, yet it's buried. Making ground news essential right now is what all of this is doing. They're the only tool I've found exposing these blind spots in the media. By gathering the world's news in one place, organizing it by story, then analyzing just how far-right and radical each unbiased source actually is, you get way more context than you ever would anywhere else. If we're being honest, we've seen Trump's power grabs throughout history. They said never again, and that means never again everywhere. And right now, it's happening here. So if you want to stay ahead on immigration, the economy, or simply finding the stories missing from your news feeds, Ground News has you covered. Their app and website is a smarter, more reliable way to stay informed at a time when MAGA is banking on us to stay distracted. So I've partnered with them to get you 40% off the same Vantage plan that I have been using. That comes out to $5 a month for unlimited access to everything I've mentioned and so much more. Just go to ground.news/Farron or scan the QR code to subscribe. With at least another 4 years of this, we can't afford to miss these details. So as I was saying, Judge Beryl Howell pointed out that you're telling me, the U.S. government, the Trump administration, you're telling me that these people who went out there and basically gave the directive to just start arresting people because they look like immigrants, based only on, quote, reasonable suspicion, not even probable cause, that it was made by people who didn't understand the law. So they're either ignorant or incompetent or both. And then she cited the specific people who made these comments, such as Stephen Miller, who told people, just go out there and arrest people. That's it. You don't need a warrant. You don't need probable cause. You don't even need identification. You just need, quote, reasonable suspicion. I'm suspicious that this person isn't a U.S. citizen. Then, of course, you had Chief Border Patrol Agent Gregory Pavino, who said, "We need reasonable suspicion to make an immigration arrest." You notice I did not say probable cause, nor did I say I need a warrant. We need reasonable suspicion of illegal alienage that's well grounded within the United States immigration law. And Howell says that both Miller and Bovino are ignorant, incompetent, or both, and honestly, we know the answer to that. It's both. But there's also a third adjective in there that we need to throw in, because it's not just ignorance, it's not just incompetence, it's also just downright evil. Stephen Miller, I mean, I'm not necessarily somebody that believes in reincarnation, but if I did, I would say that Joseph Goebbels kind of, came back as Stephen Miller. I mean, this man is just filled with hate, and it's destroying his body. I mean, the guy looks like he's in his 60s when in fact he's actually younger than me. I don't think I look all that old. But this guy is so filled with hate that it's destroying him from the inside out. So, yes, he's ignorant. Yes, he's incompetent. But let's not ever forget that this administration is filled with Stephen Millers, who at their very core, at their heart of hearts, are also pure friggin' evil. Scientists recently discovered a new evolutionary trait in puppies, and it's that they cannot grow up and reach their full potential unless you subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me, folks. Do it for little Atlas and Judge here. Good boys. You do good. You want to say something? No? Okay.